Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Video Marketing Toolkit. I'm your host Daniel Dennis, and this is the podcast where we talk to business owners and experts from many different industries and pick their brains about all things business and marketing. Hopefully after the next 45 minutes to an hour, you too will learn something new that you can take away and use in your own business. I know I learn a lot from these chats, so you guys at home are definitely going to learn something valuable. As well as also hosting the podcast, I am a video first marketer. This means I create marketing strategies for other business owners that is led by high quality video. And a really good way of producing high quality and valuable content is a video podcast. So if you're interested in your own video podcast, be sure to reach out to me on LinkedIn or my website and we can get started. Today's episode, I'm joined with Edward Kelly. He's an expert in meta ads and email marketing, and he has so many good tips for publishing your first social media advert. And what's also really interesting is that when I first reached out to Edward, I was just speaking to him in the comment section of a LinkedIn post. We'd never spoken before, we didn't have any mutual friends, and I just straight up asked him if he'd like to be on the podcast. After a few messages backwards and forwards, we settled on a date, did a few voice notes to get to know each other, and we were ready to record. And luckily, everything went to plan. We have the episode here to prove it. It just goes to show how easy it is to start a podcast and start interviewing interesting guests and having valuable conversations yourself. If you don't ask, you don't get. You just got to get stuck in and start asking people, even if you've never met them before. Thanks for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this one as much as I enjoyed making it. Thanks so much for coming on, Eddie. For the people at home who don't know who you are, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Eddie. I'm a chartered marketer. I don't know how to look at the camera,
Doesn't matter either or.
I'm a chartered marketer, marketing freelancer, and I help people get more sales by doing engaging campaigns.
Brilliant. So how long ago did you start?
So part-time freelancing in 2020, just after lockdown. So yeah, I've been doing it for about 5 years, but full-time for about 3 years.
Awesome. So you started was it mid-pandemic is when you started? Were you currently doing a job at the same time? And
Yeah.
This was a side thing?
Yeah, so I was in uni. I did a marketing degree, and my last project was when we locked down, essentially. And yeah, from there, I just kind of trying to get a job was hard. So
yeah,
I was trying to make my own experience, and I was just contacting people who are new, people who run businesses. And I was just kind of asking them, do they want any social media marketing support? That's what I started doing.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. So I got some experience from doing that. I wasn't getting paid very much. It was more just like a experience kind of thing.
Just getting your foot in the door, really, isn't it? And
Yeah.
especially, I guess, so this is pandemic started at this point as well.
Yeah.
So everything's shifted online. I guess
Yeah.
no one's really looking to hire at this point either.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I guess just getting yourself out there is best way to do it, really, I guess, when you're in a new industry. How did you find it? Did you get much response during COVID or?
Initially, it was more, I was trying to contact people on Facebook. Small business owners was where I was starting. And I think in the pandemic, although a lot of businesses kind of closed their doors, and I know a lot of marketing agencies lost clients and stuff, there was small business owners who were newly established, and a lot of people who just started their own kind of side hustles. And I was really trying to focus on them and help them set up their business ideas. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, do a marketing strategy for them, and tell them what things they should be doing. And I put a group together on Facebook called Ask a Marketer. The idea was it was just a free advice group, and I ended up getting about 400 or 500 business owners in there.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
And they were asking me questions and stuff, and it went well. And then from that, I kind of networked with other people who run agencies, and they started giving me some freelance work, which was, it got me on my feet. So
no, that's awesome. Yeah. Especially seeing that opportunity when you're fresh out of uni, just first glimpse into the industry, seeing that opportunity of all these side hustles and all these online businesses are cropping up. That's great. And how are you still in touch with a lot of those businesses now who was on that group?
Yeah, so some of the small businesses who I did they were even an hour consultancy session and stuff like that. I don't really do regular client work for them now, but
yeah.
I'll put a LinkedIn post on and they'll just comment well done, Eddie, and I'm thanks.
Awesome.
Shout out to that small business owner who always comments on my LinkedIn post all the time.
They're always there.
Yeah, they're always there commenting. And the small businesses are always so grateful for the stuff that you do for them. It means so much more for them as well. So I do hear from them. But the agencies as well. Yeah, I still do some work for them occasionally as well.
Awesome.
But now I've I'm working for myself full time, and I'm trying to just do more so my own clients and kind of build it up that way.
I feel like you kind of get to a point where when you are building your own business, you're taking on all the work that you can.
Yeah.
Then you get to a certain point where you really need to start refining it, don't you? Until
Yeah.
like your business works how efficiently how you need it to. So obviously that's how you started out. What does your business look like today?
So yeah, I'm still in that process of refining what I'm doing, and it's changing like all the time, to be honest. So right now I'm focusing more on lead generation, and I'm focusing on more medium-sized businesses, people who are looking to scale and grow by getting more clients. And it's more B2B stuff now. So
Yeah.
I'm working with a lot of website developers at the minute. I was working with people in the jewelry industry was where I started, because that was an industry that I spontaneously got a hobby and a passion for. Basically, I had my first corporate role in marketing, and I did that for a year. This was a few years ago, and I didn't really like the job I was doing. I liked the job, I just I wasn't passionate about the industry. It was logistics, which, you know, it was good experience. But
it wasn't enough to get you out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, it wasn't that exciting for me. So I wanted to do stuff a bit more creative.
Yeah.
And I decided, just like out of the blue, I want some experience learning how to make and repair jewelry.
Okay.
Nothing marketing related at all. So I contacted a bunch of jewelers in the jewelry quarter and just rang them up, and was like, would you be interested in taking on an apprentice?
That's awesome.
or someone to volunteer. And about 20 people were like, no.
What time was this? So is this like during COVID still, or?
No, sorry. So this was
before.
a few years after COVID, after I was doing part-time freelancing. I started doing this. I got a full-time corporate role, and then I quit that, went full-time freelance, and then started targeting the jewelry industry. But it was initially to get experience actually learning how to make and repair jewelry.
Yeah.
But I kind of ended up making a trade with one of them where it was like, I'll come in and volunteer, use your bench and your tools and learn how to repair jewelry. And in return, I'll do your social media for you.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So I was doing that one day a week just for fun and like to get out of the house alongside other just generic marketing stuff.
Because that's good as well, because not only like, obviously it's good experience for like doing the social media, learning something new, but from a perspective of doing the social media, you're literally hands-on doing what you're marketing basically, which isn't always an opportunity we get as marketers to literally be so hands-on in the trenches doing the actual work, is it?
In the industry, and I think that's, for me, when I thought to myself, this is a good idea to niche in the jewelry industry, because obviously, like you say, I had photos of me on the bench repairing the rings and stuff, and I was like, maybe I could send these to other jewelers and say, hi, my name's Eddie, I'm a marketer / trainee jeweler, which I was, and I still kind of am, but I don't do it as much, the jewelry stuff as much anymore. I'd be like, would you be interested in kind of doing more marketing stuff, like doing strategy, blah blah blah. And all my clients then started being in the jewelry industry. They'd come back to me, they'd be like, I really loved because it was an email that I sent them. I loved your email. It was really personal. It was great to see you on the bench, because I'd include a picture in the email.
Like you literally there working.
So I'd be like, hi, my name's Eddie.
Brilliant.
Introduce myself, picture of me on the bench. And the response I got was amazing. Like, even people who said no would leave me like free sentences of, wow, Eddie, your email was great, and like I can see you've got a good way with marketing. So
That's
like,
cool.
good luck. I've not got the budget for marketing right now, blah blah blah. But so from there, I was
people
like,
really appreciate the fact that you were involving yourself in their passion as well. Wasn't it?
So I knew what I was talking about, and I was being quite personal in my approach and just genuine as well.
Yeah.
So I think when you're like cold emailing someone, like, or even cold calling someone, if you're just personal and you're yourself and just introduce yourself like a normal human, rather than being like, hey, I'm the top marketer in the world, I can make you 100% more sales, blah blah blah,
I'm going to scale your business from £1 million in 5 seconds. Like, it's just not gonna catch on, is it really?
No. And it's also, people just don't open like emails like that, or they don't respond to stuff because they're like, that sounds like a scam. And for me, the key was including the picture of myself, because they knew I was a real person. I wasn't just a scammer or a spam email.
They could literally tie it straight back to the individual who sent it. And I think as well, like going back to sort of like how you developed that niche like really quickly early on, I think it's almost like I sort of had a similar track in that when I started out doing club photography, and so I went from one
Yeah.
club, and then I had 2 clubs, and then I had 4 clubs, and then I was just going from club to club, and it's kind of like, it's weird how you almost find what you're good at, and then you
Yeah.
just keep on doing it, like,
Yeah.
and then other people catch on to that really quick. So like niching down is definitely a really good way to just scale up like really fast, isn't it, when you're starting out?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Before that point, everyone kept saying you need to find a niche, find a niche. But I was like, but I can do marketing for anyone, like,
Yeah.
like any industry, but I just didn't know what to do. But it was just that random kind of, I'm interested in jewelry, so maybe I'll just do some marketing for jewelry. And like that random idea then spiraled into me doing marketing for quite a few different jewelry clients.
And I think that's it as well. It's not necessarily, people don't necessarily always set out to just go, they know what niche they want to do straight
Yeah.
away and they just find it. It is about that experimentation and about, oh, maybe I should try this, or maybe, one leads to 2 that leads to 3, rather than instantly trying to niche down, like, and getting and stressing about who you're going to niche down over, basically.
Yeah. It's a tough one trying to find it, isn't it? But and then like eventually when you network with people, it's you do expand a little bit, and it's people are like, oh, I know someone who needs some help with marketing. Like, have you ever done, like, for example, waste removals before? I'm like, no. It's a random
That's a
service,
new
but
one.
yeah. So I've got a client now who I do his Google business profile for him every month, and I just
Awesome.
do like optimize it and like put posts on for him and make sure he's ranking higher in Google. I built his website for him as well. It was just a pretty standard WordPress website, and now he's just like a regular client. But that was an industry I had no experience in, but I was like, I know how to build a website, I know what I'm doing with socials, know what I'm doing with Google and like some SEO stuff. So yeah, I just thought
You could tie it all together in a neat package.
Yeah.
Touching, obviously, you mentioned about emails as well, and like cold emails. What's your experience with meta ads?
So yeah, Meta Ads is a service that I'm doing as well, and currently I'm doing that mainly still in the jewelry industry. From what I've done so far, it's more B2C stuff. So promoting engagement rings, promoting, gold bracelets, stuff like that, running competitions and stuff for different brands.
Yeah.
And I find them really well. A lot of people are scared of Meta Ads. They think, or they say, I've tried them before, they don't work for my business. But then, like, if I have a chance to review what ads they've done, sometimes I can point out where they've gone wrong. I'm like, yeah, I can see why it didn't work.
Yeah. There's blatant like things that
Yeah.
are sort of like on the checklist that's going wrong here.
Yeah, it's like one of those paint things where people like draw their own ads on paint.
It's kind of like, maybe you need like a few tweaks, like
The messaging's a bit off. So
And I think that's it as well, because obviously a lot of business owners are so wrapped up around running their own business, and they're trying to
do everything.
find different ways. They're trying to do everything, like literally, as you say, graphic design their own ads, work the ads manager, which isn't an easy tool for someone who doesn't understand it to use. It's not very clear. So sometimes it is about just getting a little bit of help just to ease the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah.
So what would you say a good meta ad looks like?
So an engaging meta ad would be something visually appealing. So for example, the engagement rings, I started doing like a carousel style ad, one of different style engagement rings you could scroll through. It'd have a good call to action on there, something that says, looking to pop the question.
I like that.
And
catchy.
Yeah, so that would be instantly, if that's targeting the right people, then that's going to be engaging to them, because they're like, yeah, I am looking to pop the question. Like, so they might click on it, they might have a browse through. Obviously it picks up whether or not they've already got an interest in that product, and it'll put it in front of them. But ultimately that comes down to how well you do your targeting, and a lot of people struggle with the targeting, and it's something that I've realized Meta's really advanced at with targeting. So there's a couple of different audiences I like to set up when I'm doing my ads. The first one would be a retarget audience, and that would be targeting people who you're already following, people who've already engaged with your ad, people have clicked on it, looked at it, that kind of stuff. It's just putting it back in front of them again. They're likely to click on it again if they've already clicked on it before.
Yeah.
Or there's a lookalike audience, so that's expanding a little bit more based on the retarget, the similar audience that we've already got, kind of finding people who aren't following you, who haven't seen your content, but they fit under the same like kind of demographics, same interests. and it's putting it in front of them.
Just on the basis of, as well, something important about lookalike audience. Obviously, that is still a cold audience. I feel like some people fall into the trap and think like, oh, the lookalike audience. This is Facebook selecting the people that look like the people who know my products, but ultimately they're not actually going to know your products. So it's really important still to tailor your creatives to who you're targeting. Your creatives might not, although you're putting in the targeting right, you've got to make sure those creatives target the right people still, and that it's suitable for those
based
people.
on the actual messaging and the
based
visuals.
On the messaging.
Yeah. So at the minute, I work with a colleague of mine. He's a freelancer as well, and he has collaborated with me on a few meta ads projects. And essentially, I've been more focusing now on doing the visuals and the creatives, and then he's been setting up the targeting in the background and like actually doing the setting the audiences up.
Yeah.
And together we've we've got like a good process going now where if I onboard a new client, it's like half the hours goes to him, half the hours goes to me. And I'm like, right, I'll get the ads over to you. And I just spend all my time like brainstorming what to do. So initially I started with that carousel of engagement rings and it was just image based and it went pretty well. But then after a few months of reviewing the analytics and all that kind of stuff, I was like, should we try videos? So we got video based visuals instead of the image ones, and it's still a carousel format, but it's like just people like doing this with an engagement ring, and it just looks really shiny.
It's a little bit more fancy.
It looks all like it grabs your attention. It looks really beautiful, and just by making that simple change, the conversions and sales increased like quite a lot more compared to the images. So it's also about A/B testing, tweaking things, and if it doesn't work in the first month, stick to it for at least 2 or 3 months and just kind of make those changes, improve those audiences and target the right people.
Because one thing that I've found as well, in terms, especially when it comes to the creative and what a good advert looks like, a lot of people sort of forget that it's still on a social media platform. Just because you're running it as an advert and it's a sponsored post doesn't magically means people are going to be like attracted to it as an advert. It still needs to be engaging in the way that it's got to be entertaining, that someone wants to look at it. It's got to be, appealing to someone who's on a social media app. And just because it's sponsored, people aren't actively shopping just straight off the bat. So I definitely, because as my own quick tip, is still try and make it as engaging as possible, and still make it as something that someone is going to like and share with their friends, just as much as an organic post or a post from a meme page or a post from their friends. It still needs to fit in with what they're consuming whilst on their app, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I've seen some awful ads. I've seen ones of where people have created a graphic on for example, Canva, and they've put loads of writing on it, and it's like a square image.
Literally, wall.
No one's reading on your ad all of that. So I'm like, it needs to be just like an image or a video, just with a message, like a strong message. Yeah. So yeah, I absolutely agree. It's got to be engaging.
It's kind of like the designer's perspective, isn't it? Because you can tell someone's designed it on a big computer screen and they put all this text, and then it's going to someone's phone, and it's literally like, what does that say? It's so small.
Why is the text yellow?
Yeah.
On a white background.
It's like, what is going on? I can't even see that. Well, it's kind of like, you want to be where your audience is at the end of the day, because it's like, if you're B2C, probably the best. If you're B2C with engagement rings, potentially targeting new couples, this is being filmed on Valentine's Day, things happening around Valentine's Day, perfect opportunity to hit people on Facebook and Instagram. But if you're, say, a marketing agency like us and we're trying to find businesses, we're going to be throwing a lot of money into a lot of people that aren't necessarily even business owners on Instagram and Facebook, are we? So it's probably better to tailor our approach to then and put something on like LinkedIn. Or, for example, if we're really targeting Gen Z, where they're not really using Facebook anymore, we may as well put it on TikTok or something like that. So I guess it really comes down to target audience as well, doesn't it? Where is the consumer who we're trying to target? Like, what platform are they using?
Yeah. And I think for me, LinkedIn now is more where I'm focusing for my own business. Yeah. And even for some of my other clients. So I've talked a lot about the jewelry industry, but I've been doing a lot more now in, like, say, the lead generation space for B2B. And that's been more the cold email marketing side of things. And for me, I use LinkedIn organically, and I just try and post at least once every day if I can. I'll just put like a selfie on and I'll like talk about something that I know about. So
and sometimes that's all you need to do, don't you? Just to keep things ticking over, just to keep people aware that you're in the space. I've just noticed there's
What's
a
it got?
massive beam of light coming straight down on my head, and it looks ridiculous. So I'm just going to pause it there.
Yeah, no worries.
Take two. Perfect. Okay, we're back after a slight technical difficulty of the sun shining on my face and lighting me up. So, what is the step-by-step process of setting up an ad? What do you go through in your head as like a checklist when you're about to set up an ad for a client?
So obviously we'll jump on a call. We'll discuss kind of what they want to promote firstly. And then I will kind of brainstorm some ideas with them on that call, how the visuals of that ad will look. Do they have any content already? Do I need to get some content filmed or some images taken? And then I'll just kind of, after that, just kind of brief everything down, come up with some ideas and, propose to them exactly how the ad's going to look. And then we'll have a little bit of a think about who we're going to target as well. So, obviously splitting the audience into, we've talked about retargeting your followers already.
Yeah.
And a lookalike audience, but also you might want to dive a bit deeper into demographics. Do you want to target male and female? Do you want to target people with specific interests? Is there a certain location? So running a competition, I've done one where it's like just they want people local to the shop because they don't sell online. They wanted a small radius of people to see their ad. They're running a competition to give away something. The idea is to capture email addresses. So then that was the goal for that one. It's now going to be a lead gen form. The idea is to capture email addresses.
And there's no point in, obviously, if you're a shop that only caters in Darlington, there's no point in doing national emails, and you get a load of emails that are just pointless then, isn't it?
Yeah, and it sounds silly saying that, but it's so easy to miss that stuff as well, and
Yeah,
like not think about that if you're new to setting up ads or if you're doing it yourself. But yeah, having the exact right audience for what you're offering or what you're promoting, it's the key. So yeah, obviously once you've got your targeting, you've got your visual set up, it's just kind of like running it, doing the right kind of split tests, doing the A/B testing and that kind of stuff. And then it's just more setting up the tracking and doing the reports and stuff.
I think it's obviously really important as well when you're first setting out that campaign is your campaign objectives, because it's like what ultimately you're trying to get from it. You're trying to get the sales, are you trying to get traffic or engagement? So that's like really fundamental as well, because I've worked with so many businesses that they'll be trying to get sales, so they feel like they have to use traffic objectives, and it's like, well, that's just going to give you a load of people who want to visit your website, not necessarily buy. So it's really important to have a sort of look into that as well. And sort of already what we've touched on about ad sets, it's targeting the actual right people who you want to convert, because you could get a load of, especially with lead generations, I can imagine it's important, because you could get a load of leads through and you think, oh, this is great. But if, like you said, if you're just based in Darlington and you're getting leads from people in Southampton and Brighton, it's kind of like, what am I going to do with these leads?
I can't do anything.
Yeah, the quality is just not there then, unfortunately, is there? So it's just, do you have any techniques that you do to maybe even with cold email as well, to really ensure the quality of your leads?
With cold email, it's quite different, but it's more like you say, you want to target people with the right job title, the right location, the right industry, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's methods of refining, like if you've got an email list of leads or potential prospects and you want to target them with promoting, let's say, do you want a new website for your business? You'll then kind of think, you'll research into the type of industries that are likely to use good websites, not like people who are just, they've got to be online because they've got to be online. Maybe people who want more advanced features like forms on their websites, that kind of stuff. So you would target the key decision makers. So it could be directors, founders, that kind of stuff. So you'd refine your list manually. I've done it manually in the past. That can take a while, but there's also methods of doing it through AI, which can filter out kind of, it can read the list in one go, and then it can be right, these people are not likely to respond well to your email.
So take these guys out.
Remove that. So yeah, it's all about making sure you're targeting the exact right industry and key decision makers, I would say.
And it comes down to research as well, just spending a little bit of time figuring out exactly who your target audience is and who you want to target beforehand, because it not only means your quality is better, but it probably means that your advert's going to be more effective because then your creative is more tailored.
Yeah.
You're not just throwing a massive net out trying to capture anyone. You're actually targeting specific people, which ultimately is what the platform's really good at.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's one of the main functions of using something like social media ads, isn't it, for the targeting? So definitely. So how does tracking work with meta ads?
So you want to set up Meta Pixel on your website, which it gives you quite a lot of useful information. You can set up custom events on your website. So once you put a link on your ads, say through to your website, you can then on your website page manually go in and find certain buttons, register them to do different things. So you could have the contact form. You could have that registered as a lead if you wanted. You can have, add to checkout. You can have all of this really useful information so that after you've run ads for a while, you can then review that and be like, right, okay, I've got this many, let's say 50 add to carts, one sale. What's going on there? Like, is there an issue?
People falling just short? What's going on? Because something like that, for example, that example there of getting a lot of add to carts and then no one actually checking out, could be something like people are being put off by the delivery or some delivery price or something like that. So
exactly,
it does highlight those little hints, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's things that you could easily overlook like that. And there was I often combine Metapixel with other tools as well. Like there's heat mapping tools you can use for on your website, which is really useful. It kind of shows you a view on your website when people accept cookies, where people are clicking on your website, and it's like shows like hotspots around your website.
So it's like you can see that customer journey down to a T, which I think is really useful as well, because a big thing that I focus on definitely with video is showing the right videos to the right people. Now, all the videos could be very similar, but they're just tweaked and the message is worded in a certain way, so it's like really specific to them. So you're not showing the wrong things to the wrong people, basically.
And those little tweaks make such a difference, because with your conversions, ultimately, it's the messaging's got to be personal. It's got to apply to them, and it's got to feel like you're reaching out directly to that person, that individual, based on their interests and what they need. So it's similar, like I say, with emailing people who you're trying to do outreach and asking if they're interested in your products or services. If you're personalizing that with, hi, my name's Eddie. I see you doing this at your company name.
Insert name here.
Yeah, insert name here. I'm local to insert location. But that kind of stuff obviously makes a difference. Same with ads as well. Obviously, you want to make sure if it's localized, it's always useful. So one of the campaigns I did when I was reaching out to people in the jewelry industry was I was saying to people in the West Midlands area, I'm based near Birmingham, and I sent a picture of me in the jewelry quarter, and the response rate was so much higher than when I previously hadn't even included where I was. It was more
because everybody knows it. Everybody knows the jewelry quarter in that area, so it's going to be just like it connects those pieces straight away.
It's a local lad. Like that's how people feel. Like people tend to work more with local people or people that they know, which. People like to support each other locally, and it's nice. But obviously, it's when you're working remotely, you can work with people further away, and that's a bit more difficult. Like, say, if I'm trying to work with people in London, I obviously don't live near London, but I could be like, I'm working with people near London, which I am, and it's useful to just mention where they are.
Like something that I do to really help businesses sell locally is include like local in like videos and media and photos, like local landmarks or local architecture. It could be as simple as, even if you're doing campaigns to people all over the UK, your emails down south, I've got all like London buildings, but then up north in Manchester, it's all Manchester stock images. So there is loads of ways of just tweaking it, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. How
does an optimization look like on a meta ad or like an email, like after you've got back some results?
So what I'll do is I'll look at, typically how many sales, clicks, impressions, responses, all that kind of stuff that they've got, and I'll usually have a few tests set up from the get-go, so I can instantly start testing.
How many tests usually would you put out? And just for someone at home who may not know what a test sort of look like, what does a test maybe look like in like marketing terms?
So It depends on the actual ad itself, but obviously it could be as simple as, I'm just keep jumping from emails to ads, but
That's fine.
when I'm thinking emails, could be subject line. That's going to affect your open rate because that's the first thing people see in their inbox. And then it could be the actual email they receive. The whole first email they receive could be different to a longer version and a shorter version. You might want to test giving them more information or less.
Yeah.
And then you'll have like 2 or 3 follow-ups emails. You might keep them the same. You might include links to your LinkedIn in there to see if how many people are connecting, or if they want to click on your Calendly link to book a call with you.
I guess it's those little changes, isn't
Yeah.
it? Just to see how people respond, changing one thing and then looking at the results again and just being like, oh, so because I didn't put a picture of me, I've actually got 17 more conversions or something like that.
People like that better.
It's like, oh, I was putting people off the whole time. so yeah, I guess it's just those slight little changes, isn't it, really?
I've got a good example, actually. So one of my clients is trying to target dentists in London. And we've been doing cold email outreach now for the past month on a different industry. And what the messaging that we've crafted for that is very laid back. It's more introducing himself, picture of himself. Would you be interested to hear more? And the response rate's been really good. So he's happy with the way that's set up and running now. And he would like to apply that to our new campaign for dentists. But I've come in and said, why don't we do something a little bit more creative as well?
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, like what are you thinking? So I was like, why don't we get a picture of you with a toothbrush in your mouth like this, smiling with your laptop in the background, and the messaging is you can't expect to fix your company website with this. It's like targeting dentists, and it's like obviously poking fun at dentists aren't made to build websites. So then it's more like, get someone who knows what they're doing to do it.
No, I like that.
So he likes the idea, but because he was so set on what we'd previously been doing, we're now A/B testing both emails. So one's an image of him just smiling professionally. Another one is him with a toothbrush in his mouth. So I'm excited to see how that turns out.
Because I think testing's really important for progression, isn't it? Like a lot of marketing, it is experimental. There isn't a one silver bullet that's just going to work and you have to do that and there's no testing after that. Like you always have to be changing and adapting, seeing what's working. So like having that budget set aside just to play with and experiment. Obviously you don't have to just throw money at the wall with it. You can have some kind of idea. Some kind of idea of what's going to work well. But I think it's great to compare 2 things and then being like, right, this has worked better this time. Let's compare this against something else next time and see how that goes. So it really is useful.
Yeah, and I like working with people who like being a little bit more braver as well, and like being a bit more creative, because the more standout-y stuff you do, the better results you tend to get. Like when I first started out freelancing, I was trying to get clients and I was just trying to think of creative marketing campaigns. And I did one where it was, I put a LinkedIn post on. It was one of my first ones. And it was me sat in the car and I'd sellotaped a piece of paper outside my door that just said, I do marketing.
What, just on the side of your
side of my car door? I do marketing, and I was like this, and I got someone to take a picture of me in my car, and I made it into a LinkedIn post that just said, "I'm off to Mackey's. Who wants something?" It's like me promoting myself locally.
I think like having a bit of humor behind it and just having fun with it is the best way to do it. So every episode, I always ask my guests a series of quick fire questions. Try not to overthink them too much. They're not the most profound, amazing questions in the world. They're fairly cliche and obvious, but it's just a little way to get to know you a little bit more better as a person. It's kind of like, it's that photo of you in the jewelry quarter on the bench, but in question form. So what is your death row meal?
Death row meal, it's just my favourite meal. So yeah, duck and pancakes.
Duck and pancakes,
I love
that's
duck and
quality.
pancakes, it's my favourite, and seaweed.
Seaweed, okay.
Yeah.
Have you got like a favourite, what's your go-to Chinese? Is it like a restaurant? Are we talking restaurant or like takeaway?
Restaurant. I always remember when I was a kid, I went to a Chinese buffet and it was like, they had the pancakes there in that basket thing.
Yeah.
I went up and I just ate so many pancakes that they ran out, and I had to keep asking the guy to top them up for us.
Can you do some more for me? No, we've got a buffet near us in Burton, Wingwar. And my mate went for his birthday there the other day, and he said it was just like being back there as a kid, like exactly the same.
It holds a special place in my heart.
Definitely.
Chinese takeaway.
So what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
That's a toughie.
It really puts people on the spot.
Yeah. I feel like it's what I said before about if you don't know unless you ask. Like, so people have said that to me, that you never know unless you ask, and that's how I live my life. And I have these random ideas of I want to do something, and I don't want to just like kind of feel like I'm wasting my life, like I'm not doing what I want to do. So yeah, getting into the jewelry thing, I rang everyone I could, and they eventually someone said yes, and I was like, wow, it worked. I always tried to do like business ideas as a kid. I was selling t-shirts, selling stuff that I'd bought in bulk from China,
Yeah.
selling Lucasades on the schoolyard.
It's that like classic one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Classic entrepreneurship,
the classic, yeah.
like layup. Like I saw Lucasade on the playground.
Yeah,
It's true though. It is true.
And that's how it was. I was like, I always wanted to have my own business. So it was always like, yeah, just push yourself out of your comfort zone, and just, you never know unless you ask, I guess. I don't know if that's advice. I feel like it is advice.
No, I think it is good advice, and I think it ties in amazingly of like the reason we're literally sat here today.
Yeah.
Because when I first literally saw, it wasn't even, I don't even know whose post it was a comment on.
I think I might have commented on your post.
Maybe because I thought it was someone else. I thought it was another social media person.
Yeah.
And then I saw your comment, and then because I felt bad that I was almost stealing you off someone else's, that we was having a chat on someone else's post. But then that's when I just asked, I was like, do you just want to come on the podcast?
Yeah.
And here you are today. So yeah, if you don't ask, you don't get, basically.
Yeah.
Like you just
and that was
gotta
only
go
like
out there.
a week ago or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
the turnaround has been fast. It's literally been messaging, connecting, sending a few voice notes, and now you're here recording a podcast.
We really didn't speak much. It was just tell me the date and the place.
Even over the past few weeks, I was kind of thinking, because we hadn't spoke that much in between. I was
going to show up.
Yeah, I was like, is this actually still going to happen? Because there was, there's a little bit of doubt and stuff. But
I had the same. I was like,
done it.
At one point, it was like, do you even know this guy you're going to meet in a B&B? I was like,
I thought as well that might be a bit weird. I'm like, I've just put that is it a B&B to meet me here?
I booked the B&B. I'm like, on Valentine's Day.
I show up and there's rose petals all around here. That would have been a totally different podcast.
Romantic.
But yeah, it was. You don't actually don't get. You've just got to do it, and it just goes to show that even putting yourself out your comfort zone, you've just got to jump on it and just like run for it, really, haven't you?
Yeah.
So next one. What is one thing that you're learning right now?
So right now I'm looking more into AI technology. That's what I'm trying to apply AI and automation to my own business.
It's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
So I think trying to save time is such a big thing, because I get easily sidetracked with stuff as well. If I have loads of tabs open, and like I have WhatsApp open, I have Slack open, and then I have LinkedIn open, and then I'm trying to do my tasks, a notification will pop up, I'll go off, and I'm like, oh, I've wasted an hour now.
Or you get one WhatsApp and then you check one message, and it's just like,
and you just end up replying and doing everything that people have asked you to do. Like, so also trying to automate stuff by saving time. I think I've started setting up like zaps from one piece of software to my Asana, which is where I do my tasks.
Okay.
And that's saved me a lot of time. So for example, someone books a call in with me, it sets a task on my Asana and says, call booked with this person from this company on this day and this time. So that having those automations are really useful, but I'm still kind of learning how to set that up and how to use AI to summarize those tasks and like just kind of make things brief so I can quickly look and
because I feel like I'm in a similar sort of way of, because I do like doing things the old fashioned way sometimes. I think if I'm spending time, like for example, for me, a new step in my business is that I'm only just using like a CRM system like HubSpot.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm thinking, I was like, I'm just creating tasks for the sake of creating tasks now, which is now just another task in itself. But I guess once you start automating, getting into the flow, that's when it does it. Because I'm very much like, I sit to my Google Calendar and I put my whole life in there. And now I'm going to create tasks on HubSpot, and then I've also got to do my Google Calendar. And then it's like,
there's so much.
It's just like, I'm doing more things than like but I guess it's learning how to make them most efficient, really, and shaving off those seconds, isn't it? As much as you can.
100%, yeah.
So what's your biggest pet peeve?
It's gonna sound, I guess a little bit hypocritical, because the one thing I don't really like is when people are complaining and ranting on social media about stuff.
Okay. I was going to say cold emails for a second there.
When people email me,
Yeah.
I don't want them to email me.
I was going to say really?
Yeah, so like when people are like do the rants, it's like, you know, people ranting that they're not getting paid enough, or they're not getting, like, people don't understand that they're overworked and underpaid. But I'm saying that, but I've got like a newsletter. I've started a LinkedIn newsletter, and I've got one scheduled for next week, where I'm ranting quite a lot about organic social media. Yeah.
So you're a victim of your own pet peeve, basically.
Yeah. It's, I think when people are ranting about stuff, I think social media is one of them. It can be so toxic a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it affects everyone. If someone's putting a negative piece of content on and you're reading it, you kind of absorb some of that negative energy. So I try and limit my time on it now, and I'd try and put more positive content out there. Well, saying that, but I might retweet my draft for next week.
I think if you're putting a rant on, you've at least got to make it a little bit. If it's a serious topic, fair enough.
Yeah.
But if it's not that serious and you're ranting, try and put a bit of a fun spin on it, you know what I mean? Rather than dragging everyone else's mood down with it, sort of thing. So I definitely agree where you're coming from there. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
I would say fly, but I'm scared of heights, so I guess
I'm so scared of heights as well, so I would not be flying or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like teleportation, but I don't know if I'd just get lazy.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one, just because of the amount of driving I have to do for shoots. So if I could just clip my fingers and then just go there, like, that would be perfect. Like, I might have a shoot in Bournemouth in a couple of weeks, which is like a 4 hour each way. And it's just like, that's like a day in itself to get from A to B. And if I could just clip my fingers, I'd be like, don't even have to do that. What's one thing that you're really proud of?
I've become a chartered marketer the past month or 2 months ago.
Okay.
And so obviously,
what does that mean?
So when I graduated uni, and then I worked for myself, and it's more, I wanted to keep up my learning, like continuous learning, and keeping up to date with things in the marketing world and stuff. So the Chartered Institute of Marketing, you can sign up and become a member, and essentially you need so many years of experience in marketing. And you also need to have a certain level of qualification in marketing as well.
Okay.
And then you need to do that for 2 years, completing a CPD, which is continuous something program. I don't know if I can't remember what it is, but it's basically like doing an assessment and like providing evidence that you're actively doing stuff outside of your usual job. So I've done that for 2 years. You have to pay for it as well. And it's kind of one of them, when you work for yourself, I'm like, do I need to be a chartered marketer? You get the chartered marketer status. And not really, but it helps. And just by pushing myself to just do that and like get that one up from uni, I guess.
And I think it's a good way to add trust more people to have trust, because sometimes I think there's that many people in marketing, because it's not like being a lawyer or accountant where you have to be part of the charter. There's so many people out there, you don't know who's a cowboy and who's know actually good, who's got data to back it. So I think it is a really good way to send out on the crowd. But that's the first time I'm hearing of that, so I might have to jump on that as well.
It's one of those, like, you've got to weigh up the pros and the cons, I guess, of it. Because for me, it's like you've got to pay something like a couple $100 a year for it. But then it's like, what am I really getting from it? Is it just the status that you want, or and the certificate, or do you actually like they do provide a lot of resources which are really useful as well, like monthly newsletters and access to courses and stuff. So
cool. Yeah, definitely want to check out. So what is your favourite way to unwind?
I'm playing Animal Crossing at the minute again.
Oh, okay.
I've revisited that, so I've got the DLC. I've started doing.
Is that on the Switch?
Yeah, on the Switch. So gaming is my main time to unwind.
Yeah,
so
definitely. I'm a big gamer as well. PC gamer though. I think I've been playing PC games since I was probably about 14. So it's just been like. And I found myself going in a constant cycle of just playing the same games over and over again.
I do that, yeah. I'm playing really old games, like the original Fallout games and stuff like that.
Yeah, Fallout 3 or even before that?
I've just completed New Vegas, but I've started playing Fallout 1, and that's mad how...
It's a completely different game, isn't it? It literally is completely different. But I like New Vegas. That was a great game. Because I played 3, I really loved that. And then I was like... that was the first proper game I was looking forward to ever being released. So I was watching all the YouTube videos, the same ones over and over again. I bought like the collectors. How old are you?
Yeah, 26.
26, yeah, I'm 26 as well. So probably both saw it coming out. I bought the collector's edition with like the comic book and the coin. You got like the silver coin with it. Amazing. I've still got it.
I didn't hear about it. That's why I've only recently played it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played Fallout 4 was my first one.
Oh, okay.
And then I've gone back to the old ones because everyone said how good it was. I was like, I need to play it.
Best game of my childhood. If I could play that again for the first time, I would. Like that.
It was worth it.
Well, Eddie, thank you so much for coming on. I've had a great time talking to you. I've learned a lot about email, and we've really dug into meta ads. So I hope we've provided some good value for the guys at home who are looking to get into meta ads themselves. Have you got one final message for the people at home that you want to give out there?
I guess just try ads. try meta ads and
try ads.
And consider cold email. I know it might sound a little bit kind of something you don't want to try, but I guess it's doing outreach is really effective and it could really transform your business and get you more sales. But Perfect. Thank you for having me on anyway.
No worries, anytime. Is that everything? Is that how I've just forgotten. How do I normally wrap it up? Okay, I remember how I normally wrap it up. As always, all of Eddie's information is going to be down in the episode description below, and we would love to take this conversation online, so please drop us a DM and we'll try and answer any questions that you might have. Thank you so much for watching this to the end, and I will see you all next time.